Well, hello everyone, it's Riffraff Hornhelm back yet again with another presentation for the Dwarven Vault. Today we have a fail tale. I always enjoy these fail tales because the reality is when you've played this game, and in this case it's a D&D related fail, when you've played this game for a very, very long time, which, well, I got a gray beard, you can tell I've been doing this for a while. And I really enjoy when you have these fun stories of well, I guess it's more about how the best laid plans of dwarves and men sometimes go astray. That's what's fun about fail tales. And today's fail tale is a doozy. This was actually sent in to us on the email connection we have, and I enjoyed the story so much I'm going to pass it on. And a real quick thank you to Pat. And Pat didn't tell me where he was located. I get the impression that he's probably in North America, but I don't know that for sure. But let's get on to the tale. So, there was a group, an adventuring group, and they were deep beneath the castle of the ruling family in the country in which they lived. A gorgeous castle. Think of like Neuschwanstein or the Disney Castle or something like that. Big, big castle. But they were deep beneath it. And they were deeper than any of the passageways that had been carved by the owners, builders of the castle, and were searching for a treasure that they knew was hidden well beneath there. And the reason there was a treasure there, the reason that there was a treasure there was it was a dragon horde. And there was a ancient red dragon with its brood of smaller, younger dragons in a giant cavern deep beneath. So, that's not a bad thing, except if your group has a lot of problems with the dragons, and there's flame, and there's gas, both in, shall we say, substantial quantities. Now, when you have that much gas, and in this case it's the gas that's produced within the dragons, as well as having a party member who was contributing to this buildup of gas through a very strange magical arrangement of some kind. It's not explained to me in here, but more and more gas was getting pumped into the main cavern, giant cavern, well underneath this whole regular dungeon, the passageways that were carved when the castle was made, and then of course the castle with the very, very picturesque and lovely ruling family, including gorgeous princesses and stalwart princes and all of that. So, they were going to try and eliminate the dragons by causing the dragons to essentially eliminate themselves, combining a series of spells that both released gas into this chamber and also tickled the dragon's innards so that they were also pumping gas in here. And eventually they triggered this big magic spell with a fireball. Now, we all know that red dragons are pretty much impervious to fire, but under the right circumstances, it's not the fire that gets you. This was the right circumstances because with that fireball, they set off all the gas inside of this gigantic chamber. A huge explosion resulted, collapsing the entire cavern. Now, one would think that that's not the best way to get the loot out that's in there, but when the cavern's this big, it creates a lot of pockets and so forth as it collapses, which would mean that they'd be able to go in and get most, if not all, of the treasure eventually. What they had not counted on was physics. And by collapsing this huge chamber, well, there was a chain reaction. And I think you might see where this is going. But the explosion caused the tunnels and levels above this huge chamber to start collapsing downwards. And that went up through the various passageways, reaching eventually the foundations of the castle and the castle itself, causing the entire top of the mountain with the castle to collapse in on itself. Ugh, sounds pretty horrific to me. And it certainly was. Now, down at the bottom where they were, they never knew that it got this bad. They just knew that there was a lot of explosions and rumblings and thunderings, but they were alive. And they were still able to recover most of the treasure. However, at the top of the mountain, with the collapse of the entire castle, the entire royal family was killed. All of the primary advisors and higher end nobility of the entire country in one fell swoop were wiped out. Now, these people were left leaderless in a country, total chaos. In fact, it ended up inviting the next door neighbors to come over and invade to save them. But our adventurers were fortunately a very chaotic group, and their reaction was pretty much, oh well. But for the royal family and for this kingdom, this fail cost them the loss of both. That's pretty epic. I like a good epic fail. And especially when the people who are being affected are, well, it's just humans anyway, so it's not like it's anything important. I mean, it would have been better if it were elves. It would have been tragic if it were dwarves, but it's just humans. So, that's today's fail tale. And I guess if there's a moral to the story here is always be careful what the effects might be when you blow something up. In the meantime, I wish you all a good balance of the day. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit the like button. Give us a chance. Subscribe. Go outside and stop at least 10 random people and tell them about how great this channel is. And unless they get violent, then stay away from them. But have a good rest of the day. We'll see you again real soon. And remember, dwarves rock!